Welcome to the latest dope episode of the HipPodHedz podcast. A podcast where no sage and no vac discuss their hip-hop inspired moments. Pull up a chair, grab a beverage, fill up your cup and get comfortable.
I'm Hayes, host creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And listen, I love what Known Sage does. Y'all make sure y'all go and check out his hip hop podcast as well, which is HipPodHedz. You guys make sure you guys check him out on that.
I'm gonna give us live right now. I just start recording because I know Novak has I'm beating at 10. But no, I appreciate y'all being accommodating with this morning schedule.
Is that Coco Melon in the background?
You said, is that what? Coco Melon?
Yeah.
I don't know what she's watching. It might be Bluey. it might be Bluey. The Coco Melon phase was out by like 3, going close to 3. And then it's just advancing. It's like Disney princesses and all that stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, I remember Disney princess, man. Everybody's a princess.
Mm-hmm.
Even the animals had princesses and kings.
Yep.
But that Lion King, that Lion Guard, man, that's like the dopest show on that. You ever listen to what they be? It's like G.I. Joe for them.
The Lion Guard bars, man. They got the strong songs.
Yeah.
Oh man, they be dropping knowledge, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I mean, I'm into cartoons now. I always been to cartoons, but not like kid cartoons.
Right.
And I noticed the genius like in Toy Story. Like part 1, like it came out like I think in '95, and I watch it now like fuck. Like it should have been more appreciated like back then. Like I see it now, I'm like this is still great. Like kids still love it. The quality is still great. Like it's just a great movie. No flaws. I tried looking for them.
I mean, yeah, you're right about that. I mean, it's like it's underappreciated, and then you get into all the other shows like like Finding Nemo is dope.
Yep.
Dory had my kid crying. I was like, she was like, she can't remember who she is. I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's trauma.
Yes, sir. Identity crisis. And that Toy Story effect, man. It took me a while to realize that Steve Jobs was involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I know you're a fan. Yeah,
they got a documentary on Netflix. No, not Netflix. My bad. Disney right. Plus got a Netflix on like the whole Pixar thing, and they talked about it. But I watched that and I was like, these guys are the geniuses. I mean, Tom Hanks did the voice, but for these guys day and night to put together that cartoon just so he could do the voice, I'm like, they don't get, and we would never know their names. We would never know who the hell they are.
You're right about that. You know what I want? You know what I wish these kids had right now? That my kid, I don't know no stage if your kid got into it. Yo Gabba Gabba was dope.
Woo!
What is it?
The features, bro.
Yo Gabba Gabba. Yeah,
Yo Gabba Gabba,
almost every week, man.
Wow.
Was that on Nickelodeon? I forget what it was on.
You know what? It was. Remember they used to have a whole like network that they got rid of for kids. It had like what was that? What's that bird named Chica? You remember Chica used to come on that show? Yeah, my kid was hooked on this bird named Chica, and then Yo Gabba Gabba. I remember I didn't know who they were one day. My kid was singing this song by the Roots, and I was like, how do you know the Roots? And I saw Questlove sitting there, depicting the fro and everything. And I saw the Yo Gabba Gabba characters. I was like, man, I gotta start watching this show. They had the Roots on there.
Wow.
They had like a lot of I think Common was on the show. So there were a lot. Yeah, there were a lot of people.
Yo Gabba Gabba was dope. It had a lot of nice guests. It was kind of like if Teletubbies wasn't like high all the time, and they had a little more straightforward content. But it had its run. I don't think it was around that long though.
Nah, they canceled them quick, man. You remember DJ Lance? Yeah, DJ Lance on the show. And so it was on Nickelodeon, then Nickelodeon got rid of it, and then it ended up on like, I don't know, man, like it became a YouTube sensation. It's just like that song, that Canadian show that all the kids were singing. The one time It's Just So Beautiful, that meme that's out right now. And so Yo Gabba Gabba probably end up coming back, most likely.
Mm.
I can see it.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Never even heard of it.
Yeah. Watch it
So
on
Topher,
YouTube.
man. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. We
Yeah.
appreciate you, bro. Like, welcome to the Screen Talk podcast / the getting coffee on Zoom with non-comedians. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Seinfeld mindsets of the world out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got them right behind me. Actually, these are hers right here. These are like the little people Seinfelds.
Oh,
nice.
man. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. They're all right there. I made her get that. She wasn't looking for that.
You dropped the gem on her.
Yeah, I'm like, you're gonna need this later in life. And if you don't want it, I'll take it from your hands.
As long as they ain't the entourage little people, you're okay.
Yeah.
So look, man, I just wanted to say like Happy New Year to y'all. This is the first podcast we're recording for HipPodHedz, and this is already the best podcast ever with the best guest ever. So my man, Topher Gray, it's been a long time coming, man.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Yo.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So I know you obviously a writer, and you can translate your deepest thoughts and philosophies through different mediums such as your music, your photography, design, and your podcast. And man, like Novak said, you just be dropping gems, man, whether it be on your kids, on the social networks, just all your content, man. I just feel like a lot of gems, a lot of Easter eggs.
Thank you.
A lot of enriched things to kind of like unpack, bro.
Thank you. I guess I blame the pot for that, right?
Hey.
Yeah, I try to. You know what? It's all. I was talking to my son because he's starting to get into music, and I'm telling him,
nice.
use it as therapy. That's
Yes.
basically what I'm doing. And I'm just turning on the mic and just like talking to a therapist. I mean, I don't know how that feels like,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming that if you're gonna spill like some beans and just talk about personal shit, do it on the mic. Make art out of it, right?
Yo, I love that, man, because it's like we're gonna unpack a lot of the new album, the drop that just happened a couple days ago this year, and I think one of the bars and one of the tracks, and by the way, the album is dope. I've been listening to it.
Thank you.
Very dope.
Past few days, but like one of the bars that stuck with me, you were talking about like, I think you said something along the lines of like no hooks, like no, like just kind of like tapping into what you're trying to like teach your son right there, right? It's not necessarily about trying to come up with something that's catchy. You just like speaking your mind, right?
Yeah. I was actually just listening to that one. I was like, this song got no hook, yo. Just a message for the interested. Life sloppy, so here's a bid. Yeah.
Right.
It's just I'm trying to not because my brain is still like programmed to follow like music formats with like the 16 bars and the hooks and the intro, the bridge. So like I tell him like there's no rules to making art. So that's kind of why I probably said that. It's just like, yo, there's no hook, but this is still a song. So yeah.
No, I love that. I mean, that just speaks to my core, because I think like, yeah, like you said, like a lot of hip hop can be about the punchlines, a lot of hip hop can be about the earworm or the catchiness, but
yeah,
like it's refreshing to hear you talk about it like therapy, because like your frequent collaborator like Iowa Rockwell, he kind of approaches it like almost like advice rap, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost dope to kind of see how your two minds have met on a lot of occasions as well.
Yeah, shout outs to Iowa. I love working with that guy, man. I love working with him. I don't know, it's like because we dropped the album together, and I had played his album. Well, every time I play it, every time he comes out, he has like this presence, and I'm like, we have to work on something. It's just like after like the pandemic and the baby was born, just time was just really fucking with me. Because prior to that, that's all we were doing was making music, and then life gets in the way, and it's starting to get a little easier as the shorty gets older. So hopefully we can make more bangers and shit. But yeah, he's amazing to work with. I'm pretty sure you guys know. I mean, you guys worked with him.
Show.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like he elevates every artist to like a new level. He brings the best out of everybody in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, he's amazing. And his work ethic is it's great. You know, real punctual. He gets the job done. Yeah, so
I will rock well rocking out for sure.
yeah.
For sure. So the video too was nice too. So on your Before the Flags album, you had that video. It just sort of felt like, man, like I'm not sure if folks know your mythos or your inner spirits, but like you were just walking through the forest, it felt like on that video. Like you were just like kicking leaves, kicking trees. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if people are thrown off by this, but I know Topher, he's kind of in tune with his spirituality. So
Yeah. So yeah, with that, I live right by a forest preserve, like a block away, walking distance. And you know, I'm into that. I'm into like hiking. I like running in the woods, and you know, I'm really into that. And the guy that did the video, shout outs to Sherwin Wayne. I told him, I was like, you know what? I don't want to rap towards the camera. And my last few the first video we did, I was rapping, and then the ones after that, I'm like, let's try to stay away. Let's try to stay away from you know, rapping towards the mic. You know, I don't want to seem too like narcissistic in the videos, even though that's probably my most narcissistic video because it's just me not rapping. But you know, I wanted it to be more of like a performance art thing. That's kind of what I was going for, you know, just like a day in the life of what I do. And he was with it. He was with it. He shot it. You know, we did it when it was super cold out, so I was freezing my balls off.
I saw your pace change a little bit in the video. It's almost like it's like the video is very therapeutic. You know, as No Sage said, like your style is almost like it's a philosophy. It's like you're processing life and you're walking through the forest. And I'm watching it and I'm just like, it made me jealous for a minute because I'm just like, man, sometimes I just want to get up and walk in the forest, but I'm in Chicago, and there's no
Yeah.
forest around me unless I'm walking through a neighborhood trying not to get hit by something.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. For sure. Yeah, if you ever want to come down here and link up and do some hiking, I mean, all is welcome. Because sometimes I feel like humans need that shit. They need to get away from like, because I grew up in the city, so I kind of know how it is. You know, it's just there's not that much green. It's all cement city. It's very fast paced living, and sometimes you just gotta like, you know, charge the brain, slow it down. You know, it's necessary, I think, for humans to kind of like charge up and get in tune with like reality.
Right.
So I love that, man, because like there's so many things that I'm probably gonna bring up that I've been following you on your podcast. And again, shout out to Iowa Rockwell on your Stupid Box podcast. I know you've been doing some other pods since then, but there's one line I remember. I think you said something along the lines like sometimes you just walk these Park District streets and just like pick up trash and like put it in the bin. And it's kind of like, I know you're not doing that day by day, but it feels like it just warms my hip hop like soul because like I know you still like all about the rap spirit and like even in the video you're wearing your shades, but you're still trying to stay grounded in a lot of ways too, as far as like everything you do, you know?
Yeah, the picking up the trash thing, that's just kind of showing my shorty not to be a fucking slob.
Hey.
I'm like, so I take her with me, you know, I'm like, hey, we're gonna go clean up, you know, take care of Earth. Cause I'm big on that too, like taking care of the environment and just, you know, being a good person, you know, just trying to lead by example. So that's kind of where that comes from. You know, it irritates me too when I walk in there and I see like a Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks cup just thrown on the floor. I'm like, man, y'all just could have thrown this shit away. Like, what the fuck is, you know? Because there's also like wildlife, you know, that's there, and that shit affects them. You know,
right.
You know, everything's like connected, so we got to kind of like all take care of each other. You know, so
The Lion King, the circle of life.
Yeah, that's what it is. You gotta take care of Earth, man. I mean, and Earth would do its job. So, and you know, the another thing
Yo,
is
see
too,
that, that's a
we're not
reminder
here.
to you.
Yeah, we're not here for that long. So I'm like, I'm trying to do an unselfish thing. So when I'm dead, it's like, you know, you gotta leave something good behind. That's what I'm really big into too. Like with bars and shit, like raps. I'm like, man,
Yes,
you know, because
sir.
when I first started, it was just like showboating, little bit misogynist
Right.
raps and stuff. But I'm like, man, like,
Yeah,
is that gonna really benefit, especially with the internet? That once we're dead, our music is there. It's there, and whoever
Yep.
bumps into it, you know, you want to leave them some real data. Like, how was it? You know, what should I do? There's some people that need like advice. So I had watched this documentary, Finding Vivian something, and it was about this photographer that she wasn't like popular at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and after she
Right.
died, somebody like one guy like
Yep.
discovered her work and was like, "This is amazing." And I guess that's where it stems from. Like, you know, I'm not huge, but like, let's say if I ever die and somebody does come across it, like, oh, this is important data. You know, like I need to know some of this shit. Like, you know, taking care of the planet and being nice and shit and dressing fly. No.
Well, you know,
Hey,
Yeah, man.
it's
That film got a
that's
lot of
something.
buzz.
yeah, it was a good flick for sure. But you know, it got me thinking, like, man, you know, when you're dead, there's things that you leave behind that could be valuable for somebody else, inspire somebody else. So
Well, think about Biggie. Think about what Biggie have said. You nobody, somebody kill you, and you don't want to go out that way. But think about like life after death blew up bigger than what it was after Biggie went down. And when I was riding around the other day in the city, and somebody's playing "Long Kiss Goodnight," the RZA produced track, No Sage. And I
Mhm.
looked over at him,
Right.
and the kid had to be like 13 years old. But he's in the car with his mom. But you can tell his mom was the hip hop person, and the kid was he was meeting Biggie for the first time. Like Topher, I get what you're saying. Like imagine one day somebody's riding around and puts on your joint, and you left your footprint, man. Like you left your echo, you left your sound wave out there, deeper than where you left it at that point. It's already resonated, and a new generation have felt it. It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. That's always like important to me, just leaving data behind. I preach that probably the most. Like just leave good information. Don't leave no
Right.
bullshit out there. Yeah. So and then for your family too. Cause I don't know anything about like nothing past my grandma. And I always thought it would be like super dope to like know like longer like I wonder how my great grandma was or great grandfather was, and I don't have any of that information. So that's another thing. I want to leave like information for like if even if it ain't like great grandkids, if my kids don't have kids, maybe cousins, they'll have some kind of like ancestry shit to look back, thanks to like
Yeah.
technology. There was no like technology back then for us to have recorded data, or maybe there was, I don't know.
There was stuff around, but yeah, I,
Yeah,
I get where you're coming from. That I mean, it's like the history is so important because what it does, man, is it makes you like it makes you feel so proud of where you're trying to go. It's hard to go somewhere sometimes you don't know where you've been, or you don't
yeah,
know exactly what the significance. Like I didn't understand history like that, my family history and stuff like that. My grandma passed, and I started
yeah.
seeing stuff, and I traced back like all the way to 1800s, and I was like, man, this is how
Mm,
they got here. This how they entered the country. So you start looking at this stuff, and that's just one part of your lifeline. You know what I mean? You still got your dad's lifeline. You still got other relatives how they got here. It all tells the story. Like writing bars and stuff. You think it's the same premise. Because it all comes together and makes a song. Right now you're writing the song of your life. Every time you drop a dope album, like this album, man. I was listening to High Newman. The High Newman track, man, is
mm.
hilarious. I like it because I like
Thanks.
that tempo. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Is
but
that supposed to be a riff on Seinfeld, like "Hello
yes, yes,
Newman"
yeah.
type stuff?
yeah,
It was supposed to be Hello Newman, but I didn't like
yeah,
how Hello Newman sounds. So I was like, man, I really want to like present that. So I said hi instead of hello. Yeah, shout outs to Iker Ruckus who did that beat. That was the only beat that I didn't do on that album. And I needed like an intro, and I was like, man, this would be like super dope for an intro.
You achieved it, man. It's dope. I picked it up
Thanks.
immediately. I'm like, yeah, he's like Seinfeld. That's the
I love it.
greatest show. Yeah, greatest show ever about nothing. My kid was trying to watch that with me the other day. I'm like, the show has no plot, but you're gonna love it. She's like, what do you mean by that? There's no plot to the show. I can watch Seinfeld for hours without thought.
Man, me too. I watch it every night. That's kind of what I use to fall asleep. Like I'm like a Seinfeld like junkie. Like I even have an official cookbook from Seinfeld. I don't know if you can see it back there. It says like Seinfeld official cookbook. And I'm like a fan of Jerry and Larry David too. They're funny and they're good writers. Like if you like really look at like the show, you're like, oh, this is not just some stupid funny shit. It's really good writing. And I adore like great writing. Like I love people that actually sit there and take the time to like make you think and put some good stuff together. For sure.
Are we supposed to get like a new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm? I thought I saw some rumors about that.
Yeah, February. February it'll be dropping. That's gonna be great.
Nice.
Hey.
Yeah.
He is hilarious.
I always love that when you're trying to reference Seinfeld, because I know I hear it in your raps, I hear it in the albums, and actually it's no mistake that you also met up with another like-minded folk, your other frequent collaborator, Surfboard C. I even think he had like a music video where he did like a Black Jerry type video.
Yeah. We're supposed to be dropping an album. We're supposed to be we're supposed to be dropping an album called like Cashmere, and it's a reference to Seinfeld. I don't know if you remember when George had gifted Elaine a cashmere sweater with like a red dot. So we're gonna call the album Cashmere George, and I'm like, let's just call it Cashmere for like, just to hide the reference a little bit. But yeah, Surf's another dude though, man. I love working with him. That's my guy. That's like my brother actually. Y'all got me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
Surfboard's dope, man. Because I think in that Black Jerry out, I can hear you. In that Black Jerry video, somehow he got the pirate shirt, or he made his own version of the pirate, like Foofy shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, man, y'all are about this. So
that's a classic. That's a classic video. I remember that shit too. Mm-hmm. He had the wig on too. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the wig on as well. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Surfboard, because you got him on the album for this new one.
For sure.
We're gonna have him on the podcast at some point as well. But yeah, man, like I guess some other lingering questions I had, because honestly, every bar you're dropping is a separate podcast, bro. So I just love being in your space. But in your Stupid Box podcast, which I will co-sign and say y'all did achieve the Seinfeld mythos with that pod. So again, if y'all ever bring that back, I know you had I Will Rock Well on your newest pod, which was nice. But there was a couple things that I remember that still stay with me to this day, right? There was this one question that came up, something along the lines of like, what gift do you always want to get? If you had a choice, or no, I think the prompt was like, what was your favorite gift, right?
Okay.
A very interview type question. And then all of a sudden you like debunk it, or you unpack it. You're like, can I name a gift that I gave myself?
Damn,
that response right there is so Topher, man. I'm like, come on, bro.
Man, to be honest, I don't even remember that. I do not remember that. But you know what?
But like, not only did you not answer the prompt, you flipped it. Bro.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, back to the podcast thing. The Stupid podcast is still on. I want to get back to it heavy, but I have a podcast called Chat Factory. So what I was trying to do with that, when I had him on, I was trying to have these sub inventory podcasts, which is when he's on that, it's the stupid box, you know? So it's not like I completely like disabled it. I'm just trying to, because then I do some stuff with my wife too about like parenting, and people love to hear us talk.
Right.
So I was like, man,
Yes.
how can I make a podcast and have these sub podcasts in one? So when me and Iowa does something, it's stupid box. When me and my wife does something, I forgot what I named that one, but it's like all these different kind of things. So I'm gonna bring that back. The thing is, I'm at the moment, I was making these albums, and I'm finishing up a book that I wrote called "It's Hard Not to Be Human When You're Human," and it basically just talks. I pick fun at humans and shit and how they act. So it's like if an alien was to land outer space and go, "What the fuck are these people doing?" Um, so that's been taking up my time. But as soon as I'm done with that, which is hopefully soon, I'm bringing back like the podcast heavy. So I'll have you guys on for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, because this feels kind of weird where I'm on
respect,
somebody
bro.
else's podcast. I'm like,
No, that's dope. That's dope. I know you're explaining the subgenre too on the Chat Factory, and I just love your clean setup too there, because even like usually like to do in-person pods, and it took me a while to realize that you had the Chat Factory brand on the TV in the middle of y'all. I was like, did you somehow superimpose that image? Like, no, you have that image running, but it still looks clean and everything
that
you do,
yeah,
like the content looks
yeah.
clean.
So I needed a backdrop. That's what that was. And then it's good for like fact checking to have it like right there, so that way we could just kind of look
Yes,
up
sir.
and do the fact
Right.
checking. But
But yeah, shout out to Kennedy at least, because I heard her on some of your other content as well. So that's nice. The
yeah,
other line that kind of like speaks to that book you're writing, which that was gonna be my other question, so you answered it. The other the other conversation, which was stupid box worthy, was like, I think you were kind of like trying to like grapple with the idea of inviting folks to something, right? So there the prompt was
yeah,
something like, if I'm having something or an event, do I just invite a couple folks that I'm cool with or this circle of friends? And then I think your thought was like, F it, I'm just gonna invite everybody. And I don't care if nobody shows up. And I'm like, what? And even
yeah.
Iowa Rockwell was like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, that I do remember because I talk about that to this day, especially with the wife. I don't know what it is. I don't like the feeling of narcissism, and sometimes I feel like performing on a stage or just having something for yourself has that, not completely 100%, but it has that feeling for me, and I'm like, you know, like I wish I could throw something and just not even show up, just so people can see the art. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then sometimes I do feel weird just kind of like interacting with just like people and stuff. Sometimes I don't know why, but that's why I told him, I'm like, man, if nobody shows up, like I'm not even like even if I was to have like a special, super special event and my mom doesn't show up, like I wouldn't even give a shit. I'm like, go better. It's just one less person to entertain, because you got to be on. You have to have the on switch. And sometimes that switch, it's a bitch. I hate turning it on because you got to be, hey, how's it going? Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of politics involved, and sometimes I'm not good at that, like at all. So
No, I respect it. That,
yeah,
that that definitely
the
like
invite,
spoke to
but
me.
I at the same time I don't want to sound like an asshole and shit. Like fuck everybody. It's just it's just like sometimes it's a weird feeling to have
Yeah,
like a
man.
lot of people in the group for something that you did. I'm like, it ain't about me. It's about the product, So yeah, which is weird because I'm
That struck a chord.
yeah, I'm trying to throw like a book release so people could come grab the book and shit. And I'm like, how do I do this without like, you know? So I was like, maybe it'll just be something personal, like close friends and family and shit. And yeah,
That's
the
dope.
in
That's dope. Well, I'm
the
glad
invite.
you're yes, sir. The invite. That was it. That was the combo. So I appreciate you teasing out the book, because I know you've been teasing out for a while, so I can't wait for it to drop. Like this is a little off topic, but like when I had my first son, I was trying to figure out how to get the word out, right? And I think the texts and the social networks and whatever platform I was using to get the word out wasn't as tech savvy as I wanted it to be, right? So I literally just did email, just the email blast, right? I remember one of my ride or dies from high school literally like hit me up like, hey man, why didn't I get the announcement? Why didn't I get the email? And it's kind of like those moments right there where it's like, it's not like I forgot, dude. I was literally trying to get the word out there. And for
Yeah.
some reason you weren't on the list. And then, just like the whole like unpacking of like humans trying to be human, man. It's
He
like you don't want to
he
forget
he
nobody.
he caught feelings. And
Yeah,
that's
he caught feelings for real, for real.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's weird when people catch feelings to me. That's the weirdest, because if you understand like how life works, you would know that there's like human errors and flaws, and it's just like, hey, he might have forgot, but the intent is like the important part. Like, does he not like me? Like, yeah, I like you, and I forgot. Then we're good. It's always the intent behind it. Like, it's life gets in the way, and something happened. But hey, we're still friends, right? We're still good friends. Like, I would have hung up on him. I would have been like, bro, hold on, click.
But
Gotta,
people get so emotional while they out there life, and I totally know what you mean by that. It's like you're trying to get to this point, but everybody want to know along the way when it's gonna happen. You're like, I don't know yet. So sometimes it's still developing. Like I went through the same thing, and I went through the same thing around the time my kid was born. Everybody was like, I didn't know you were having a kid, and I'm like, I thought I told you, because you talk to
yeah,
so many people, and then they
yeah,
get upset, and then you get that fallout, you get that disconnect. I think that's
yeah.
where that's like the apex of every song, or every tragedy, every friendship tragedy that's out there, is that
Yeah,
people get
getting upset.
upset. Yeah, people get upset, and then they come back to you. It's almost like, if you think about hip hop and stuff, you fall out with an artist, and then you're right back infatuated with the artist. So the Kanye effect. Think about it.
Yeah,
Everybody was putting the crucifix in his front yard. Now everybody's upset because the album keeps getting delayed. The same people
yeah,
say, "Oh yeah, he's trash." Well, where's the album at? I need to hear this album.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a weird one, because like, to be in that man's shoes, you can't. You can't understand. Like, for one, he has a lot of money. Two, you're not actual friends with him, so you don't know what's going on in his life, personal life, like schedule, like all that stuff. So, as fans, like, of like artists and shit, we just got to sit back and just understand it is what it
enjoy the
is.
ride.
Yeah, like, you know
Enjoy
what,
the
we're not friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
right.
can't be upset at this man. I mean, I understand people want art, they enjoy the art, and they're thirsty for the art, but if you want it that bad, then go make art. Like, shit,
Right.
don't rely on this one person to. And I love that man, but I'm not like getting upset with Kanye West for tagging people along and shit. I'm dropping tomorrow, and then a month later, you don't hear anything. He's an artist. I mean, we all know we're all artists, so we process things different. So
Yeah, you think, yeah, you're right about this. You sit there every day waiting for it, and the legality of this stuff, the holes, the clearing samples, and all the stuff that's going on in these situations. But everybody's an expert on, this shouldn't be going on this way. And I'm like, well, it's happening. So what do you want us to do about it?
yeah,
I mean, it's the life he chose at this point. It's the Kanye life. You already
yeah,
know where
yeah,
he
yeah,
chose to be that way. So it's just what it is. I think he's doing great from the perspective of the recovery. The recovery from where he's coming from is insane.
yeah,
Because that was a disaster written all over. But the bounce back is going to be greater than the fallout in that situation. To the
yeah,
boomerang.
yeah. And like, who knows? Like, next year, he might just be a different person. That guy, he just might like be a completely different person. Be punctual, drop albums when he say he might. Like,
Yeah.
it can always change. Humans always change, evolve. People shouldn't be upset how somebody evolves, whether it's trash or not. It's just part of the process before he dies. It's just gonna be his book when he's dead. Like, he was this type of person. Like, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, you
It
might be
is what
looking
it
at Hendrix.
is.
You might be looking at Hendrix of our time right now. Because Jimi Hendrix was bipolar, and
Yeah,
on that whole career thing.
yeah, yeah,
I remember my mom telling me that I said with him about things, and then when he passed away, Jimi Hendrix became one of the greatest guitarists ever. Even though he was already great at what he did, but nobody saw it until Jimmy wasn't here anymore, and they were like,
yeah.
"Oh my God, we need Jimmy to
They
do this,"
start.
or yeah.
hmm They started picking him apart. Like, oh, he was the first to do this, and
Mm-hmm,
so the thing with Kanye now, though, people are doing that to him now. I think
mm-hmm,
that's why he's so, people are real picky of him. Like they expect us, they expect always better because he brings a lot of good shit to the table. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's human evolution. We're all doing it. We're doing it now.
And it is true. Think about the podcast. You're familiar with the podcast industry as well. How it went from having a conversation to having a conversation, other people listening to the conversation, or evolving into the Cat Williams drama that is today. With the Shannon Sharp show.
That shit's funny. That shit was funny as shit.
Man, it was out there. But you think about like giving people a platform, like talking to chopping up with you right now, so giving a platform to talk music, art, how you view the world, man. These are time capsules in time. These are time capsules that can be opened at any time by anybody and say, man, Topher was on this before we got there. So evolution at this point is awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm enjoying it. Shit, I find life very entertaining. It is something, especially to see like you were saying earlier, No Sage, your boy getting upset. You gotta let him know, like, hey, the conversation has, like, if we don't talk for a while, and I had like 5 kids, but once I pick up that phone and we talk, it has to start where it stopped. Like there can't be no feelings in between there, because you could be doing something else with that time than getting your feelings hurt. Because I have a lot of friends like that where I don't talk to for like years, and then when we talk, my wife is like, you're talking to this person. Like sometimes she's never even heard of some people. And she's like, you talking to them like you knew them forever. And I'm like, we're friends. Like it is what it is. Like they know, it's like nothing. It's like, oh, you haven't called me in 2 years, or, I think it's like, oh, for real? And then we get into the shits, So I kind of enjoy that.
I like that bar, because like, yeah, for sure.
I want his number. I want his number. I want his number, and I want to mentor this guy, man. I mean, I gotta tell him, like, hey, look, it's not worth it, man. Don't worry about it. We'll figure a way around these emotions.
I dig it. You dropping bars, you dropping gems. I mean, like, real talk, this was definitely before he had kids and before he was married. So I think he sort of had been course corrected.
Now he gets it
by the universe.
But now you need an apology. Now he has to call you, and I hope he has, like, hey, I apologize for getting upset with you. He has to recognize that now. I hope he's listening. No Sage needs an apology right now.
Hey, spill that tea. Spill that tea, baby.
Hey, men don't say they're sorry. They just say, you know what, I did that because you did that.
For sure.
Respect.
I'm just fucking around.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it. I love it, man. That's amazing, man. Because like everything that you're kind of like riffing on is just it just hits home, bro. So I just love, like, how you said, like, you just love to floss and you love to, like, show that, you love to show your hip hop spirit, but you definitely are not trying to, like, be braggadocious all the time, which is just super refreshing, to be honest. I know our time with Novak might be running a little short, but the other last story I wanted to ask you about was so I think at one point you had a autograph. Since we're spilling tea, bro, you had an autograph of Muhammad Ali, and I think you got him to sign it like a boarding pass, a plane boarding pass. And then somehow, I'm fast forwarding the story, but you gifted it to somebody else. Did you give it back? And how much of the story do you want to tell?
No, I never got it back. I haven't even, I see the man all the time because it's my wife's uncle, and he's our neighbor now. And I had brought it up to my wife, and I was like, man, shit, you think I could ask your uncle for that back? And she's just kind of like, he went through a lot. I'm like, it sucks. It sucks because it was like a boarding pass, but I do have, because I don't know if I mentioned this at the time, maybe I did, but he did sign like 3 Holy Quran, like a page from the Holy Quran. He signed a few of those, and he signed a boarding pass. So I do have his autograph still. Like, it's not on a nice ass boarding pass. It's on like a copy paper of the Holy Quran. So I can always frame that somehow. So it's not a complete loss. It's just the boarding pass looks sweet. It had his seat and everything, his full name. But I'm still gambling with the thought of bringing it up. I'm just waiting for the right moment, like when we're both kind of tipsy. It hasn't happened yet. It's either I'm tipsy and he's sober, then I'm kind of like, man, I don't want to offend him, or he's tipsy and I'm sober, and I'm like, he's probably gonna go off on me. So I'm waiting for there's gonna be a right moment where it'll come up. So that story is gonna be to continue till I actually get that shit back. or an answer. Or an answer for sure. For sure.
I almost got his autograph a few years ago out of Rosemont at one of those card shows. And the reason I didn't get it is because before he passed away. I felt bad asking for autographs. He was not in great condition, you know what I mean, at that point in time. And these people were making him sign socks, they were making him sign baby forehead.
Shit. Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you ain't looking too hot right now. Let him go. So, and I saw, I saw him, and you look at him, and looking at Ali, it's like looking at like, man, history in the making at that point, and you're like staring at him, and everybody's like, do you know who that is? Well, I know who that is, in that situation. I mean, but I didn't get a chance to shake his hand, and the size of that dude's hand, it's like I got pretty decent sized hand.
Yeah.
I shake his hand, like, wow, like this dude is a monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his hands is huge. His hand is huge. Big. I remember that too.
Yeah, and but he still had the power in that handshake, even though he was starting to transition out of this world, man. He was still strong, And then somebody wanted him to do somebody wanted to show him his boxing stance a little bit. He stood up, but his hand speed was still almost there, intact, even though he was dealing with that disease.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, what was he like in his prime? To meet him in person. You couldn't have a conversation with him at that point, but you're right, man. I mean, it's just an awesome experience.
Yeah, he's actually like the perfect example. Because he started losing his mind too from getting hit so much. How life really is. You know what I'm saying? When you be, my grandma's going through like dementia now. I mean, it's not that bad, but I was talking to one of my guys, and I was like, man, look at how funny life is, because whatever you used to get upset, whatever you used to do, whatever you went through life means nothing. She doesn't remember any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing with Ali. Like he said, because when I seen him, he was in pretty bad shape, and he was kind of like shaking, and he was doing like the whole thing to me. And like you said, he had big hands, and I was like, man, how much does that shit like mean anything now? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it means something, but to him, like whatever's going on in his brain, he probably doesn't remember like certain things he would get upset at, and whatever accolades, like it probably means nothing to him. He just probably wants to like spend time just being here for as long as possible. So big ups to Ali, man. That man definitely one of the greatest boxers of all time.
Right.
Muhammad Ali. I need that shit back.
Hey. To be continued until the heist / the
I'll have an answer. I'll have an answer.
Well, yeah, man. So
yeah, but we all got to get up one day and link up and just talk. I mean, even if it's not like working, making shit, we could just like fucking talk.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
I love it. Yeah, bro. I mean, so it's been a blessing to have you. Obviously, if anybody hasn't checked out the album, definitely peep it out, because it's like I literally every time I try to tabulate your content, I'm like, oh damn, he just dropped another project. What the hell? So it's like you keeping my playlist super enriched. So I appreciate that. But you got podcasts, the books coming, you got merch, and yeah, man, just keep the positive vibes. And
thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Same here, man. Just keep building and growing, man. I mean, the way you're evolving, you think like hip hop. You're right. It is therapeutic. Music in general. There's sometimes I listen to music to get through a workday because if I don't listen to music, I'm going to get angry and say something to somebody.
Yeah.
Because people dealing with people is the hardest thing in life. Sometimes it's dealing with people accepting limitations, understanding what they are versus what you want them to be at that point. And it's a journey, man, to get along with people. It's a journey.
Yeah. Don't you wish like killing people was like legal? Like the people that are in your way, you could say, bow, and not like be frowned upon. Like, yeah, who, Jerry? Yeah, he died. He was in somebody's way, and like no feelings or nothing like attached to that.
Think about doing.
We went from Seinfeld to Black Mirror real quick.
That's a great show.
When you watch, when you watch like all the Christmas specials, you remember in one of the biggest lines from a Christmas Carol is decrease the surplus population. The first time I heard that, I didn't get it. I was like, did he just say kill everybody? He did. so
yeah, that's dark humor.
Very dark humor. In 1934.
They had the vision already.
Yeah.
they're trying to manifest it, but woke culture won't allow it.
The architect was already there.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys having me on, man, for sure.
Yeah, man.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
No, I was just gonna say I was gonna let Novak finish this off with some final thoughts. But I also wanted to ask you quickly, like, did you get to see Seinfeld when he was here last year?
No, I've never seen Jerry
perform like that.
No, I've never seen Jerry live. He is definitely like on a list I want to see. I'm not rushing it though, because I hated his last stand-up. There was a few things that really bothered me. One was his face. It looked like he had Botox. I could be wrong. And then it was
Botox.
Right? It was, right? And then, I like Jerry, I like his stand-up, and I like when Jerry like talks more on the microphone. And his last one, he was just really energetic. I'm like, be Jerry. I understand the crowd is bigger, but you could still somehow make it intimate. So when I had a chance to see him this year, because my anniversary was coming up, it was either him or Dave Chappelle. So Dave got my vote. He's been consistently like great, So we went to go see Dave Chappelle. So does Jerry. I was like, you know what? I'll get these Dave Chappelle tickets.
Yeah, I was at that one.
Yeah, he was great. That's an artist, man. He perfected. And then what the thing with him was like to be at a big venue and make it feel real intimate. I was like, he perfected this craft. I mean,
it was better seeing him live than seeing Century Entertainer live because he used every element of the United Center. And like the visuals, the Netflix loading screen, he was on point. And he killed it. He killed it. To be honest with you, and every time you see it, respect the greats, respect the masters in that situation because he was in his zone. He was in his bag of tricks that day.
Yeah.
It's like see a Wu concert or somebody. When everybody assembles and just destroys.
Yeah, for sure. How was Cedric? Was Cedric good?
We'll talk about that. That's a whole nother show, man. We might have to bring you on there for the review of
you don't want you don't want to go Cat Williams on this on this comic review.
No, too early for that, man. I'm trying to peddle positivity today, man. But
I know, I'll let you close this out, man.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you for coming shopping up with us.
Thank you.
Check us out. No, thank you. Yeah, go check us out everywhere podcasts is available. Go listen to something dope today, and definitely go to something that you can leave a stain on the human existence today. All right, peace.
Hey, live from the Space Factory. No breaks in between, can you feel that? I'm on the grind like you need breaks. Wake and bake just to make this great. I'm done making mistakes. I give you information lacing with some fentanyl. Now you seeing clear like retinol. Got the flow like Escobar. Nas 96, my brain rich. In the matrix, I'm on the A-list. I'm the favorite human in the world. I'm hot like a core from Earth. I've been like this since birth with a weed at. So hold your breath, man, I need no feedback. I do this for the love, so relax. Make my name popular. Isn't this an odd world? The necklace around my neck are home of pearls. I stay dripping like a curl. Your style makes me wanna hurl. Like I'm in my 10th twirl with my girl. I'm the type to go to beer tasting, asking for some champagne. I'm trying to buy this new Phoebe follow just to show you how I maintain. So much has changed, but the aim is still the same. Never sing the same song twice, man. You a lion with no mane. The world is mine like Wayne. I came to bring the pain like Method Man and grow these gains. That flipping in the rain, I'm losing all my change. Let your brain swim or float, do not go down the drain.
Thank you for listening to the HipPodHedz podcast. A podcast where no Vac and no Sage discuss their hip-hop inspired moments. Share, like, subs, comment to the show on YouTube and Spotify. Go out and listen to something dope today.